This is Richard with Richard's Beer Reviews, and I'm back. I know it's been a while since my last review. I'm going to try to get a little bit more regular in the absence of the reviews. So I have also enjoyed a lot of great new beers that I can't wait to review them for you. A small announcement. You know, my middle boy, Anthony, goes to A&M. He's in engineering. He's a junior. But now my youngest boy, Ryan, just got accepted in the engineering program in A&M. So I got A&M times 2. Okay, let's move on to this new beer that I'm going to be reviewing today. I'm glad that this whole COVID thing is out of the way. I'm sure everybody is about this COVID. Sometimes I think this whole COVID was just a way for the government to teach us how to learn karate. You know, so let me explain. Most of you that are around my age remember the movie Karate Kid. So, and it was, remember Miyagi was teaching him karate? It was like wax on, wax off, wax on, wax off. Well, lately it's been mask on, mask off, mask on, mask off. So now, you didn't even know, but the government just taught you karate. So next time somebody wants to punch you and punch you in the face, you go, mask off. And then mask on, mask off, mask on. And there you go. You know, karate. So I'm going to pause it and go get this beer in the refrigerator, and I'm gonna let it warm up just a little bit, because this type of beers, you do not drink it at the 54 degree temperature of a refrigerator. You want to do it slightly warmer, almost close to when most beers and liquors tell you a room temperature. They're not talking about Houston or Miami. They're talking about England. It's a lot colder over there. So it doesn't mean at what room temperature is in Houston. So see you guys in a second. I'm gonna bring that beer. It's a wonderful beer. It's a wonderful story. And actually, I mean, I hope it's a wonderful beer. I heard great things about it, but I've never tried it. So I'm gonna be trying it here first with you guys. While we're at it, let me introduce you to my new beer review companion. Every time I sat on this table and sat on this chair, started looking at my iPad and doing a little bit of beer reviews, he came around and wanted to be part of the show. So I had to keep telling him to chill out, and there he is, just relaxing, because he likes to get right on my face when I'm filming. But anyway, here we go. So the beer I'm going to be reviewing is an Abbey beer, more specifically a Trappist. So Abbeys and Trappists are both beers that are brewed by monks. So if you've heard of the monks that live in an abbey, but Trappists are another type of Christian monks. All these Abbeys and Trappists are Christian monks. And they've been brewing beer for a long time. As a matter of fact, most people, experts, believe that the monks were the ones that really perfected the beer. They were the first ones to add hops to beers. So there you go. Without the monks, we wouldn't have IPAs. So anyway, one of the things that characterizes the Abbey beers and the Trappists is that they're brewed in the Belgian tradition, and they are very, very complex and smooth beers. So in most Trappists there's 3 kinds of Trappists: a double, triple, and those are mostly in Europe. That was going off. So a double, a triple, and in the United States, there is an Abbey that does make a quadruple. So it's a very strong, but it has to keep that smoothness going on. And that's exactly the one I'm going to taste today. The only Trappist beer brew in the United States. One quick distinction between Abbeys and Trappists. They were both brewed by monks, but what happened, this happened in the 1800s as beers evolved into mass manufacturing. The major breweries figured out how the monks were brewing their beer, and they basically just copy it and call it Abbey style beer. But the other monks that were the Trappists, when they saw this, they sue the big beer companies, and they actually won the lawsuit. So you can see big breweries that have an Abbey style beer. That means that it's brewed in that style, but it's not brewed by monks. But if you see the word Trappist in that bottle, then it has to meet 3 conditions for that beer to say the word Trappist. Number 1, it must be brewed in a monastery or an abbey. Number 2, it must be brewed by monks in that monastery. So they can't just be using, their gym or something. And number 3, the proceeds of the beers must go to enrich whatever benefits the monks were working towards. So whatever they were working for. So those are the 3 main conditions so if you're drinking a Trappist beer, you're drinking a beer that was brewed by the monks in a monastery, and the proceeds will do some good to somebody. So you can enjoy the taste and enjoy the money well spent. So this Trappist Abbey beer that we are going to be looking at today is called Spencer's. It's Spencer's. It's called Monk's Reserve Ale, and it's a Trappist quadruple ale. So they make quadruple ales, and they also make imperial stouts. So I looked them up. The beer comes with a little QR code here, really cool. So you just point your phone to it, and then it goes to the website, and the website looks something like this. See, this is the Abbey, and you can see about our beers, questions and answer, our history, and order online. So you can order online, and it tells you a little bit about the story about the Abbey. This is the Rule Saint Benedict, and it's and they've been doing jellies and stuff, cheeses, like a lot of Abbeys do to sustain themselves. But a few years ago, one of the monks decided to start brewing beer in the spirit of the old beer brewing, and this is what they came up with. So we're going to open this and see what it tastes like. The proper way to drink strong ale, whether it's a quadruple Trappist or a stout or a porter or an imperial stout, even double IPAs, it's in a gobbler. So the center allows it to expand and foam very nicely, but because the rim is narrower than the widest part of the bowl, it concentrates the smell and the aromas. So here we go. Oh, it's also got a really pretty seal. Let's see, you can see it there. But this is the Spencer Monk's Brewery. And I want to point one thing out too, in the website, which is Spencer Brewery, maybe spencerbrewery.com or something like that. It talks about their beers. You can order beers through the website. And also there's a very interesting part that's called questions and answers, frequent asked questions. And it asks, if you want to ask what's the difference between a Trappist beer and any other beer, it tells you a nice little story. Trappists or monasteries, abbeys have been brewing beer for over 1,000 years. At one time, there were over 600 monasteries and abbeys throughout Europe. And when the armies went across the mountains to try to conquer another country or whatever, they went through monasteries. And of course, monasteries were off limits. But the monks always did the best to support whoever was in need, and they gave them beer. And that flavor of that beer just was carried throughout their countries, and it just became sought after flavorful beer. So they're considered to be so sophisticated in their brewing, and many people associating more like a fine wine and a champagne than they do to a beer. So this one, and specifically, one of the things it talks about, it's got like a purple color to it. So some of the guys I've seen in videos, they lean their glass and they barely pour their glass, so to create less bubbles. But I've always believed, from my understanding and my research, is that when you just splatter the beer, especially this glass will not allow the beer to splatter out, but it allows the fermentation and the carbonation to do its thing and to release more of the flavor and the aroma in the beer. And also because these beers are so heavy in the ingredients that they have, that there is sometimes residuals that are stay on the bottom. So you do want to do a little bit of this shaking, and don't just pour the first half and then pour the second half without shaking it, because the second beer will taste different, because that's where everything has settled down. So you do want to shake it a little bit, not like this, like in college, like you're gonna prank somebody, but you know what I mean. So here we go, let's try this beer. Oh, I think George is coming. Here it comes. He's coming for the beer. George, I'm still filming. Okay. There's his tail. Wow, this is very, very good. It's definitely a very complex taste. I can understand when they say that it almost tastes like there's some wine into it. The description of it says nothing about wine barrels, bourbon barrels, which is the most common way where a lot of beers try to bring those flavors into their beers. You know, you hear a lot about stouts that are bourbon barrel aged, and that's to try to extract the bourbon taste out of the oak barrels, or just oak barrel aged. You know, you get to extract a lot of those nutty flavors from the oak. But this is not aged in bourbon barrels or anything like that, and still has a delicious kind of winey bourbon, I don't know, sophisticated taste. I don't know if it's bourbon, if it's wine, but very nice, very, very delicious taste. I can just see this. It's almost like you're drinking a mixture between wine and beer. This is not a beer you want to take to the beach, or you want to bring to your son so he can have in his apartment with his college buddies, because this thing is 10.5% alcohol, which is equivalent to about 2.5 regular beers. So, plus, number two, they won't like it because they're used to that crap taste from lagers. So this beer is more to savor, to drink slowly and enjoy it. I would say maybe crackers and maybe cheese, probably cheese, because monks have always been known also to produce cheese, to make cheese. That's one of their products. And they probably make the beers go well with cheese, because that's also what they make. So this beer is delicious. We got lucky, but we found it. I didn't even know about this. I mean, I've been drinking another Trappist before, but it's from Europe. I didn't even realize there were monasteries in the United States that actually brew beer. And lucky for us, there is one now. And Spencer just started doing it a few years ago. So now we have our own Trappist American beer. And these are monks that are doing good. They're doing good for their community. And now they're doing good for me because they're brewing some awesome beer. I hope you like this beer review. And give me some comments if there's a beer you want me to review. Like I said, I got a lot of freaking good beer coming up. So I'm going to try to be more regular. Adios, amigos.